guys, back in today with more Ramparts of Ice, this time with episode 2. It was a fun first episode, very different feel to the main character than your usual kind of romance anime, but it's quite enjoyable. Quite a few characters introduced last week as well. He unlocks like the best in others. I think it'd be very nice to be a guy that could do that. I'm pretty good at like spotting those things and like reading a room and understanding like unsaid things and so on. Wouldn't be too good at. If I was in that scene, I'd be. It'd be pretty similar, but I just wouldn't have any tools on me. there would be no lockpicks. There would be no keys. Maybe like a stick. Maybe like a wooden stick. Is the equipment I'd have. That wouldn't fit in any of the holes. It's kind of wondering if I was watching the right show for a second. But I can't remember what happened with her getting hit on last week. We saw the big guy kind of come through, but I can't remember how we ended off that situation. Ramparts of Ice. Locksmith. As we did see. Oh, so it's still okay. That's why it's still here. I think there are like some cues that they have. I don't know what they are, but you always see those like fake videos of like women getting like abducted and like doing some kind of actually does. Yeah, they're like fake videos, and they do some like kind of hand signal or something, and they get saved. Every one of them I've seen is fake as fuck, but there may genuinely be some actual real kind of signals you could do to someone to get help. I should probably look them up, to be honest, shouldn't I? And I said this last week, but and I know in that situation it's not a good thing, but I say that as a good thing. Like, I see that as an admirable thing, something I'd like to just have a laugh without thinking. I mean, it's probably not the case, but maybe there's a bit of jealousy and like her want of that as well, and mixed in with why she doesn't like that so much. As I said, I like it where I live in like America and such, especially they celebrate like things like that being so like open and like yeah. Like I said, I'm much more in line with her. Don't get me wrong, but I see that as somewhere I'd like to just be have mindless kind of fun, not at the expense of someone else. As we saw there, that's the negative part of that. But it's not generally a bad thing. No, he's just Mr. Giraffe. Yota. He did get that wrong last week as well, didn't he? Fair enough for her for correcting him. I think some people would be a bit too shy to. You don't have to. That's something I was always quite bad at. Like always like these awkward kind of silences I'd like hate and stuff. But sometimes there's nothing to talk about. They're more comfortable than that nowadays. So I think she is a bit of a people pleaser nowadays, Mickey. I think they maybe that's a harsher way of saying it, but something along those lines. She's quite popular. She's got a lot of friends. She's got a lot of responsibility to be friends with a lot of people, and I mean, she's still the same Mickey, but she just has a bit of a different outward face at like school and stuff. It seems. That's 2 on 1. 20s. That is, isn't it? Like 15 years, 14, 13 years. Really? You wish you were that tall, do you? Probably to scare away people, maybe. I don't know. Why did she? Why would she? No, dear. Why would she want to be that tall? I thought it usually as a woman you'd. I mean, it's not that you prefer to be smaller or taller, but you probably wouldn't want to be too tall as a woman, right? Although I say that a lot of the taller women are like models and such. So that's a common kind of conception, isn't it? I love that they didn't even bother subtitling that. Though, again, is it picking on her? I wouldn't go that far. I mean, again, the flashback that we saw earlier with the random guys from the previous school, yeah, that was a bit too much. What he was doing last episode, picking on her? I personally don't think so. I can understand it might feel that way in her shoes. I said my experiences last week with stuff like that. I feel like I'm pretty qualified, if you want to say that, to talk about it. But maybe because of like the Japanese society is more kind of, she feels it more in that regard. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when you say picking on you, it's essentially bullying. Like people are bullying you. Apparently, you're bullying her, bro. See, another thing is, it's usually the younger you are. I think this is more so the case. But when people do tease you and such, it sometimes does come from places of like jealousy. Sometimes they do just dislike you. But when I look back at some of the times when I was younger, it was actually because they liked you. And like, I don't know why it is that is what they do. But yeah, some people see that as some kind of like flirting or just like way to approach people. I don't know. I watched this really interesting movie last night. This is not really majorly relevant, but it's a little bit. I watched this really good movie last night, and I just sat there at the end credits for like 20 minutes just thinking and just like a bit numb. It was called Mysterious Skins, I think, and it was kind of in the same line as A Requiem for a Dream in a sense of like I loved it. It was really awesome, but I'll probably never watch it again. Um, as I said, I just sat there for ages thinking about it, and it does kind of relate here in a way of like maybe it's these like past experiences that really kind of affect who you are and who you become, and in some cases, you won't get over stuff like this. You won't just get over being this ice queen or whatever you want to call her, or you won't get over teasing people. Like if you've had good experiences teasing people in the past and you became friends with them, you just never will. You probably gonna do that again. But yeah, sometimes that's just who you are, and you won't get over that, and you won't change. So, as I said, that movie was fantastic. If I mean, I'd like to recommend it, but it'll be a bit too much for some people, honestly. Oh, wow. I mean, he seems pretty indifferent, doesn't he? So, do you reckon he was dating her for her benefit, like what we see in the intro segment? He wasn't dating her because he wanted to. Hmm. He maybe saw that if I date this girl, it might break her out of her shell a bit. It might, yeah, interesting. Yeah, he seemed like emotionally like not invested there, did he? Like, very interesting guy. Very interesting. Like, he clearly cares a lot for other people and the betterment of them and wanting to unlock their selves, seemingly. But he doesn't actually have any emotional attachment. Hmm. Strange guy. Maybe I was way too emotional, but I remember at high school when I was like 13, my girlfriend broke up with me. I didn't go to school for a couple of days. I was too embarrassed. But like, you'd figure you'd have a bit more of a reaction to something like this, wouldn't you? It wasn't even like embarrassment. It was just the fact that I knew you knew you'd see them at school. I was just dreading it a bit. Pretty. Yeah, Yota. We're on a first name basis. No honorifics. Just yeah. I was getting totally ignored. See, could this not could be considered rude? I mean, she doesn't like the whole teasing. I personally wouldn't like just being ignored right in front of my face like this. In fact, I've had that happen to me, and it's yeah, it is annoying. Like, you meet up with some friends and then or some people you know, and then you just like greet each other, and then they just like totally ignore your existence. Feels bad. But yeah, they seem awfully friendly, don't they? From his perspective. I mean, from any outside perspective. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's like empathetic, but unemotional, seemingly. But unemotional maybe going a bit too far with that. But yeah, I'm not sure what to make of him. He's kind of like a social butterfly that actually cares about what other people think and feel, which is actually unusual. Usually, they always think about themselves and how they come off, and how they present themselves, and how many friends they've got, and so on. But he, at the minute, is definitely the character I'm most interested in. I've got to say, as you can probably tell, I just don't find these little moments quite as charming, or nearly as charming as the author's other series. To be honest, I'm not sure if it's like the production or what, but I usually feel like a little warmth, laugh a little bit. I like you and I are polar opposites, but I don't. You're kind of similar here, but it's not quite hitting the same. I do wonder why that is. It is a very, very similar, same style, isn't it? I guess maybe like a subtle difference in that regard can be a big thing. Or chalet burger. I don't believe we've seen a home life here, have we? Nobody home. Very empty looking place. Very empty. Oh my, there's nothing here. Incredibly empty. Yes, you were. Naturally. So this is something I can relate to a lot. As you can probably tell in a lot of my videos, I don't smile an awful lot. It's something it sounds a lot worse than it is. And it's something I got better at, but I used to be so self-conscious. And every time I would like laugh or smile or like have fun, I would usually like try and hide it. I don't know why I saw it as like a bad thing. As with what I kind of said earlier about kind of thoughtlessly having fun, that's what I kind of see that as an admirable kind of goal or thing I'd want to do. I guess maybe that's just again a personal bias, kind of my experience type of thing. Other people probably watch this and think something completely different. But yeah, I was always very self-conscious about like being caught having fun or something. Again, I can't really even explain why. But yeah, I'd always like laughed. I'd always like hide away, like shy away, not really smile too much. If I did, I'd try and like hide it. And yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get into it here, but I guess that's why I look at this like a very different way. However, I have also experienced some of the teasing and such that she went through and really didn't like it. So I've got a bit of duality with that, I guess. Contradicting experiences that I'm a pretty contradictory person in general, to be honest. I guess it's a little like this. Maybe it's because like the themes of the show are a bit more serious. I don't know. As to the point I was talking about a minute ago, and not like laughing as much and such. Can we invite me, Nato? I mean, reasonable to assume that, to be fair, but to just ask that off the bat. Everyone's like, I kind of feel bad for the guy. Everyone's kind of like avoided him. It kind of feels left out of the loop a bit, I imagine. Which never feels good. So he just inserted himself. Yeah. Why was he here? But again, I do kind of feel for him a bit. But I don't know if I should. As bad as that sounds. Because he could, as what we saw with his girlfriend, like, he's the type of person that would have a relationship with someone that doesn't have any feelings for them. It's just like strange. I do get the feeling it was for the betterment of the girlfriend, like it was to maybe make her more comfortable in a situation with a boy or something. Like who knows? Like the visuals here clearly represent something within him, don't they? Um, But yeah, I'm not sure how to take that. Is he a good person for doing that? I feel like it's a bit of both. There's the two sides of Mickey. Yeah, just to pause and talk for that for a minute. It's just like, how do you take that? Like I said, like he's a good person for. I mean, again, we don't even know for a fact that he's trying to help out his ex-girlfriend in some kind of social regard or personal regard, but I assume he is. But he could genuinely not be. But yeah, do you take that as like a positive thing, or do you take that as a negative thing, as like by playing with her emotions in a way, having her emotionally invest in a relationship with you, yet you feel nothing? Again, it ultimately leads towards the betterment of her. However, it will hurt her as well. So I don't, yeah. A strange guy, like I said, he's definitely the most interesting character for me so far. Not the most relatable, probably the least relatable. Maybe that's why he's the most interesting. I mean, he's relatable in some regards, but not many. The main character, the girl Haikawa or whatever her name is, she is probably the most relatable so far for me here. But that guy certainly is the most intriguing to me, and maybe she'll think the same, honestly. So I don't know what this is about. We've got something like lights / fire in the back here. Some kind of rift or like crack for this girl, who I'm not sure who that is. Is that a younger version of her? That's the younger version of her. Okay, it does look quite different actually. Looks very different. But yeah, she's got like a glacial crack, frost coming off, and then as I was kind of speaking about earlier, like the two sides, like the social outward looking version of Mickey on the right here, and then her actual self looking at the reflection of her that she gives off to everyone else, along with some like lava or something. I'm not sure how to interpret that. But yeah, as I kind of talked about earlier, I definitely feel that this isn't quite as charming or as quirky or as funny as You and I Are Polar Opposites, but it certainly is more serious and probably will explore its themes a little better, perhaps. So there's like trade-offs. I think I want to have a bit more, like, again, I love my kind of serious stuff, but I feel like the funner kind of You and I Are Polar Opposites probably will inevitably be like my favorite work of this author's. But still some very interesting stuff going on here. Like I said, this orange head guy, a bit of an enigma for me, honestly. I definitely want to see much more of him. As I said, I kind of feel bad. He kind of feels like he's getting like left out a bit. Got like absolutely blanked earlier on the episode. As I said, I had that happen. It's not very nice at all. I've had to be honest, there's a lot of experiences within the show already that I can relate to a lot in different regards and to different varying degrees. But yeah, it was another good episode today. Another good episode. But yeah, plenty of I think as a like character episode, it was really intriguing in terms of like giving. I mean, the main character already got a lot last episode, so there wasn't too much to explore in that regard. But with like the side character, this guy especially is probably the one I'm talking about the most here. There was just like a few really interesting facets to him as a person that I just really looking forward to exploring, to be honest. And he's going to try and insert himself in these situations as much as possible. And as I said, I see this as admirable. Like, this is something I'd maybe aspire to be. Some people might see it as horrible, like annoying, like the annoying guy that's really popular and upbeat, that tries to insert himself in every situation, tries to be friends with everyone. I can see how people might find that to be annoying, but yeah, I don't really have that kind of thoughts about that, to be honest with you. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section. As I said, just like on a negative level, it's just like the kind of quirky moments really aren't hitting quite as much as in the others. I think that's partially down to the production. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks good, and they do put effort in, like with stuff like this, like the little visuals here and there. Like, it's not like completely devoid of like passion or anything. Like, it's a good. It's just not quite as poppy and like, I don't know, yeah, it just doesn't quite hit the same. Even though like the themes and such actually hit quite a bit harder. So maybe I should just not compare, to be honest, but it's hard not to, isn't it, when there are so many similarities. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy this one, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. I'll catch you guys next week with episode 3.